Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and Apple released macOS Tahoe 26.3 to the public. macOS 26.3 Tahoe is available around the world at the same time for everyone on all macOS 26 supported devices. This particular update came in at 3.68 gigabytes, that's on my M4 Max MacBook Pro 16-inch, and was released alongside many other updates. iOS 26.3 as well as iPadOS, macOS, tvOS, HomePodOS, watchOS, and visionOS updates to 26.3 were released at the same time. There were also some updates for older Macs as well, along with iOS 18.7.5 and iPadOS 18.7.5. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the build number and talk about what's new. So we'll go to the Apple in the upper left, go to About This Mac, and you can see here we have macOS Tahoe 26.3. If we click on it, we can see the build number is 25D125. So this is the final version released to the public, and this particular update is not about new features, but rather bug fixes for the most part and security updates. The first thing though is if we go in and maybe go into Safari here, one thing we initially thought was fixed was the resize window bug, where the cursor isn't really attached to the corner. This is something that we initially thought was resolved, but has not been resolved in this update. There is one thing that they resolved in the dictionary app though. However, if we go into it, we'll open it up and maybe we'll search for Apple. And if we search for Apple and I scroll up, you'll see that it goes behind the text or the menu bar here. In the prior update, it sort of was completely translucent or transparent. So if we go in here, I have a screen capture of it. So with the screen capture above, you can see the previous version of macOS, and then the new version, as I scroll up, again, goes behind the menu. So it definitely makes it easier to see. So that's just a small bug that they've resolved. As far as anything else, well, Apple hasn't mentioned a single thing in their release notes. It just says this update provides important bug fixes and security updates. However, on their enterprise release website, there's definitely some changes here. So you'll see here under macOS Tahoe 26.3, it says File Vault is correctly enabled for standard users when enforced by a device management configuration during Setup Assistant. Also, screen recording permissions for apps are now shown correctly in system settings when a device management configuration allows them to be enabled by standard users. And the third thing they've mentioned is Platform SSO login completes successfully when using the user principal name if the identity provider password is changed outside of macOS. So that's what they've updated as far as bug fixes. Why they don't incorporate this into their normal notes along with everything else they've fixed is hard to say. Now, as far as security updates, there's some significant ones here. So let's go to Apple's security website. And on Apple's security release website, if we scroll down, you'll see all of the latest releases with macOS Tahoe 26.3. So we have quite a few updates here. In fact, there's over 50 updates as far as security releases go. So 53 in total, where there was over 40 in 26.2. So some significant updates here, everything from contacts to core services. We have Foundation, GPU drivers, kernel, all the way down. If we keep scrolling, you'll see Spotlight was in there, WebKit, Wi-Fi, and more. So lots of different updates here with security. And under Wi-Fi, it says the impact or the issue was an app may be able to cause unexpected system termination or corrupt kernel memory. To resolve this, the issue was addressed with improved memory handling. And then they have the CVE number and one of the people that sort of tipped them off to the issue they were having. So definitely a lot of improvements. So if you were wondering if you should install macOS Tahoe 26.3, I would say this would be reason enough, as there's continued improvements throughout. However, they haven't improved liquid glass, it seems. We still have the same sort of menus here. Everything does work like you would expect, and it seems to be getting better. I've been using it for a day on my main Mac, and I've been editing video with it, and it seems to work just fine. I've had no issues whatsoever, so it seems to be solid so far, but again, only time will tell. As far as overall performance, like I mentioned, I was using the newer version of Final Cut Pro. No issues whatsoever to report. Export times were just what I would expect. Photo editing and Pixelmator Pro seem to be about the same, and everything else is performing like I would expect. Safari, Chrome, all the others as well. When it comes to battery, this device I use on battery quite often. I use it while I'm traveling as well. But if we go to battery, we'll take a look at it here, and you'll see battery over the past day or so has been what I expect as well. I can get through a couple days, just normal use, but if I'm editing video, I could edit about 2 or 3 videos and then I would need to charge. But it seems to be holding up quite well, and when it comes to battery health, if we take a look here, I'm still at 100%. I charge it often and typically just leave it plugged in, so it seems to be managing that very well on its own. Now, it looks like Apple is really refining this update, really taking their time, and hopefully that's the case with macOS 26 and all of the other updates. macOS 27 could bring more refinements, and we do expect some new M5 Pro and M5 Max MacBook Pros very soon. It should just basically be a spec bump, but we should also get some updates after that with M5 Ultra Max Studio. So every few years, Apple updates that, and hopefully we get some new studio displays running at 90 or 120 Hz along with a Pro Display XDR. But all of those are expected to come out probably within early March or late February at this point. However, based on the code, so far there's no information about those new Macs like there were in previous updates of iOS. So it looks like we could get updates very soon. Supplies are running low on not just MacBooks, but iPads and iPhone 16e as well. So I would expect some sort of update in the near future, hopefully within a few days or so, or within the next couple of weeks. Now, if you're testing out AirPods, there's a new beta firmware update today as well for AirPods Pro 2, AirPods Pro 3, and AirPods 4. It has a build number of 8B503F. So if you want to enable that, you can jump into the beta program, but I don't typically recommend that when it comes to the AirPods. Of course, when the next macOS betas come out, hopefully we get some significant upgrades there. But if we get more refinements this year with macOS 27, like we did with Snow Leopard many years ago, I definitely welcome it. Some maybe updates to the design, usability, and just speed and optimization. Now, as far as anything else, if we take a look at the calendar, we do expect some upcoming releases, hopefully some more significant ones in the near future. Originally, we thought with iOS 26.4 and macOS 26.4 with the early betas, we may see the new version of Siri integrated with Google's Gemini and have more contextual information as well. But so far, it seems like that may be being pushed back to 26.5 or later, with even more information coming with 27 or more updates. So this is the latest according to Mark Gurman, and it seems like that's probably likely. So Apple continues to refine the updates, but I wouldn't expect anything major from the next one just yet. However, we could see that as soon as early next week. Some have said to expect it the following week, the week in the 23rd. So we'll have to wait and see if that's when they actually release it. So that's pretty much everything so far with macOS 26.3. It seems to be fairly stable, at least the past day, editing videos and photos and using web browsers and mail and everything else, but it definitely needs some improvements, whether that's visually or anything else. Let me know your experience in the comments below, and of course I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.